Everybody, Preston Poulter here with Pocket Jacks Comics, and today I'm talking about Maneaters. More specifically, I'm talking about Chelsea Cain, the comic book writer and creator, and she has been the target of a social justice lynch mob that seems to have prompted her to delete her Twitter account. This story in From Bounding into Comics, which recorded the tweets before she deleted her account, and when initially I just found this story, I'm like, oh, this is of general interest to my audience, but this this story left me shook. I was unexpectedly affected by this story. Like I did not. My heart goes out to Mrs. Cain because Ms. Cain, however she wishes to refer to herself. Like look, I'm an indie comic creator, and I'm reading these tweets that she's putting out there. Let's just say, all right, she and I share that we are putting out certain works that we believe in. In my case, it's White Lily, which I've made certain creative choices, such as not overly sexualizing the portrayal of historical figures, not because I'm more moral than that, I'm not. Simply because that's not what the story is about. My story is not really about these sexy ladies doing stuff. My story is about like trying to find purpose in the face of death. And I feel like the sexualization will take away from that. Now, she wants to do a story where basically she's kind of trying to change society and make them accept menstrual blood as being perfectly healthy and normal and wonderful, I guess. I find that a bit weird. I've always found that a bit weird. But, look, if that's what she wants to do, then okay, Chelsea, go forth, see if you can find a market, just like me. But you understand that it's a grind, and you can. For me, like when I get to issue 5 of White Lily, that story's done, and then I'm going to move on to something else with more sex appeal. For her, I don't know if Maneaters was specifically intended to be a series or a limited series. I suspect it wasn't, because when I was looking through it, it didn't say, one of. It just said issue 1, issue 2, issue 3. So, but according to these tweets, she's now decided she's going to bring an end to the series and is lamenting her loss of profitability. So, that's kind of the headline of the story, and I've now given you the subtext of it. Now, let's dig in to the very dramatic tweets. There's nothing quite like Twitter drama to really just bring things to a head. So, I guess a bit more backstory. Chelsea Cain came to prominence, or at least attention, when she wrote Mockingbird and had Mockingbird wear a t-shirt which said, "Ask me about my feminist agenda." So very much kind of standing up and tall amongst the progressive community and saying, here I am, this is what I believe in, and was basically embraced by that community. But here she's come under fire by that community, and it seems to have really left her very shaken. So she's put out Maneaters again as more with the feminist agenda, in an attempt to normalize menstrual periods for women and young girls. All right. And so far, so good. But then the problem is, what about biological males who want to call themselves women? Now, my opinion on that one is just because you want to call yourself a woman doesn't make you a woman. I'm sorry. You can call me whatever you want. Just come at me, bro. Like sorry. Not sorry. That's me. That's who I've been. That's who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna die thinking that. I am not changing that belief. I'm simply not. She is trying to find that line of morality where she can talk about periods, which are part and parcel of female anatomy, and at the same time go, oh, but men can be women, yet they can't really experience that, right? So she kind of seems to have come under fire from people of going, well, your book's all about menstrual cycles. What about transgender women? they don't have menstrual cycles? Is that what's defining them? Are you a TERF exclusionary radical feminist? And, well, So she kind of went back and forth with some people on Twitter, and then she did something that this one really kind of tweaked her nose at. This time the social justice left, and they don't like nose tweaking at all. So what did she do? She took some of the tweets that were very critical of her. Well, at least, all right, so 2 tweets in question, and she put them in her comic book. All right, so the subtext of what's going on in the comic book is that these women who, at the onset of their menstrual cycles, are now transforming into panthers, werewolfy kind of stuff, and eating men, hence the title, Maneaters, right? Well, they have been gathered together in a concentration camp where they are attempting to kind of rid them of their lycanthropy, or whatever they're calling it in the comic book here. So they're at we're going to pray the panther away camp kind of thing, and literally pray. That is one of the things that one of the captions reads. So this is kind of Chelsea's attacking conversion therapy here. Fair enough. But while she's attacking conversion therapy, she's putting in 2 tweets of people who were kind of critical of her. So let's look at the 2 tweets in question. So these tweets appear on the wall of this, I'm just going to call it Conversion Therapy Center, in her comic book Maneaters. I appreciate any comic on menstruation and the literal violent eating of men. I super duper do. I want to pause right there. So, notice, by the way, this is yet another incident of progressive people just being completely okay with violence as long as it's directed towards people they don't like. Again, which, again, is just kind of going back to that Aldous Huxley quote of basically the purpose of morality is to kind of cleanse away the nastiness of violence. It makes violence okay. It's okay to want people dead because they're bad people, as we see here. I super duper do, but Maneaters further cements the toxicity of the gender binary in a heavy-handed way. Okay, so just being called out for cementing the gender binary. And here, I want to like Image Comics Maneaters so bad, but it is so heavily founded in bioessentialism and turfness that it's impossible to not feel like it perpetuates the same misogyny, systemic violence that it's attempting to tackle. So, all right. I mean, at that point, we have shots fired, right? Because there's nothing that the progressive crowd hates more than this idea of conversion therapy. And she's taking these tweets and she's putting them on conversion therapy walls. I mean, what's Chelsea saying at that point? But hey, I'm more progressively moral than you are. And oh boy, did that did not go well. That did not go well at all. That set off a firestorm. So let's go through the drama tweets. Queen Kung says, in case you had any doubts that Chelsea Cain is a TERF, these are from her most recent issue of Maneaters, published by Image Comics, where she takes tweets of people critical of her work and plasters it on a billboard in an anti-menstruation concentration camp. Yeah. And then someone else says, WTF is going on here? If this was supposed to be an attempt at recognizing what's wrong with Maneaters, this is not the way to do it, because it looks like a passive-aggressive FU to the OP. Which it does. Has Chelsea Cain admitted that her book is turfy? I feel like that's the only way to get out of this hole she's digging. Like, I'm thinking of strategies for her to continue the book and not be an asshole, and this ain't it. Remember when comics rallied around Chelsea Cain? Remember when she thought she was doing a decent work in a cruel industry? What wasted faith, what a wasted investment. I'm sorry for everyone who believed, even for a second, she was an ally. Another one. This is bizarre, breaking the fourth wall to call out random readers who criticize your comics' transphobic subtext, a new standard for popular creators using their platform to punch down. In case you had any, And Chelsea Cain came to prominence in the comics community thanks to this Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda cover, which provoked backlash from sexist fanboys and made her into a feminist figurehead. Now she's using that platform to punch down at trans people. Very disappointing. So I'm sure there are more tweets, but you kind of get the idea. And Chelsea took this one really to heart because, I'm next gonna go over the tweets that she posted before she deleted her account, and clearly she's pretty shook here. I didn't know that. I want to acknowledge the really painful criticisms of my work and the sense that I have, no matter how hard we try, we are made to feel worthless and small. It was meant to echo a voice, the one that tells me I'm a failure, or as I call it, Twitter. Okay, all right. This singular tweet proved unsatisfactory for many. This article from Bleeding Cool goes on to say, and as the cries of outrage grew, by the way, there's a link to the Bleeding Cool article down in the description. You can just read it. Cain took to her Twitter account to issue a more comprehensive statement regarding the controversy. I'm so incredibly proud of Maneaters, our creative team. Of the 3 14-year-old girls we publish, I am incredibly grateful to have the chance to tell this story on our own terms. It's been financially ruinous and emotionally wrecking and totally worth it. And, that one shook me. I'm like, man, I understand what it's like to put your work out there and lose money on it just because you believe in it and you want to offer that to people. I mean, I feel you, Chelsea. I think your premise is a little fakakta, but, hey, creator to creator. I see what you're doing here. I'm devastated that our comic has been attacked for excluding trans women because our plot involves periods. Having a period does not make a person a woman. I haven't had a period since I was 35. Most women don't have periods. We are girls. Then we are menopausal. But here's the thing. A large group of humans are shamed for bleeding every month, and that's not okay. And if Maneaters makes even a few of those humans laugh or feel empowered or feel a tiny bit less weird about a totally natural process, then we did okay. We all know what it's like to feel like we are gross or wrong or scary. We're all humans. Maneaters is about what happens when you're made to feel like a monster and about what happens when you refuse to accept that narrative. It's about periods. Sorry and good night. All these tweets happened yesterday, by the way. Let me make clear. I'm an idiot. I'm super sorry. I'm defensive because it means so much. If you are trans and feel excluded by Maneaters, that's on me, not you. You are glorious and brave, and God, thank you. I'm listening, and I'm trying. I can be dumb sometimes. I get defensive and self-righteous. It creates blind spots, and that's not okay. And I'm sorry, and seriously, now I'm actually going to bed right now. So then, she later is like, oh, hey, I've got an idea. What if, kind of a mea culpa, I'll get a sensitivity reader in there, someone who, a trans-oriented sensitivity reader. So would anybody be willing to be a trans sensitivity reader for our last few issues of Maneaters? We can't pay, but I will send you comics, and I will listen and do my best. Reply here, and I will follow you, and then DM. And that did not go over well. I don't know why it didn't go over well. If I was, attacking her and she put that out, I would have said, okay, she's trying to make amends. But, sometimes people get a bee in their bonnet. Off they go. So then she then had to post tweets apologizing for that offer. I'm sorry, I never worked with a sensitivity reader. I can't seem to stop screwing up. Can I? I was just trying to say that I was open to feedback, but you're right. Of course, I can't ask anyone to work for free. And she's admitting that she's working for free. She wants the team paid before she gets paid. And since Maneaters is not exactly a big title, it's like around 7,000 issues sold per month. It's not setting the world on fire. So there's not a lot of money to spread around there. I didn't even know sensitivity readers were a thing in comics. I really have no business being here. I work on me for free. We thought we were doing something good. I'm so sorry. I cannot ask anyone to work for free. I don't get paid for my work on me. Our entire budget goes to our team. This is important. I will talk to Image and see if I can get money for this. I'm just operating on the fly here. I appreciate your patience as I educate myself. Nothing I can say can make it better. I've learned that here. Intentions are kind of irrelevant. Actions are everything. So we try to make the best last 3 comics we can. And I work really hard to make up for my mistakes. Sorry again for all of it. And then she deleted her account. I'm sorry, like, I know a lot of people out there are just going to be like, yeah, screw her. But, like, man, like, when something gets taken to task like that and has that kind of emotional reaction, I feel like the Blair Witch Project, where you find this video recording of someone going through this horrible ordeal, and then you're left with like, oh my god, and then they died. Well, hats off to you, Chelsea. You believed in your art, and you're taking heat for it, and you said you're sorry. What else can you do? I mean, you could adopt a different ideology and hang out in a different crowd, but I know that's not who you are. And you've kind of embraced and molded your identity around these kind of progressive beliefs. And this is the crowd you're stuck with, and it sucks. I don't know what to tell you, but oh, that is rough. Anyway, my comic, White Lily, about the deadliest female fighter pilots in world history, is up on Indiegogo in case you missed the Kickstarter. There's also a link for that down in the description. Thank you very much for your time.